Well, it's New Year's and Americans start making their resolutions. So we asked people in the polling, what are you resolving to do? Big numbers for those who are making resolutions: improve their health, exercise, spend more time with the people they care about and related, diet and eat better. Now, not everybody is making resolutions. The ones who are tend to be younger. Maybe the older folks realize that a lot of us just won't keep them anyway. All right.
So the topic of today, how are you doing with your New Year resolution? Did you take one? Or?
No, I don't do New Year resolutions anymore. I stopped doing that. It's something that has never worked for me. I've tried. I tried doing that a couple of times while I was probably much younger. I realized it's not for everyone.
It's not for everybody.
Um, no matter how prepared, no matter how psychologically ready I think I am for the kind of change that people want in their lives, I just realized I make resolutions, I don't keep them. um Not that I don't accomplish anything, but making a resolution is one thing, and trying to follow through with them is a whole different thing.
The
And
other,
there
yeah.
are people out there like myself who don't make resolutions, but we get things done, right?
We get
We
it done,
seem
yeah.
to have an idea what we need to do. We don't need to go through the process of doing a resolution and things like that, but we know what we want to accomplish for the year. We know the things that we need to adjust, and then we get on that and do that. So yeah, I definitely stop making resolutions. I know others do it. I know it works for people. Well, do you do resolutions? Does it work for you?
Like you, it's not something that I've been particularly invested in. And for one, I don't wait for the new year to make any changes that I need
Of
to make.
course.
I I try to make them when I feel the time is
Hmm.
right and when maybe I need to make some changes. I just do it. I don't make it very ritualistic when it has to be at the start of a new year. Um, oh no, I'm going to have this big start all over again, this refreshing start all over again because it's a new year. I don't tend to do that because I know of the failure rate on
Hmm.
that. It may interest you to know that about. I was reading somewhere about 80% of people who make New Year's resolutions do abandon those resolutions by the end of the first month.
Yeah.
So in February, you have only about 20% who are still continuing on their New Year's resolution. God knows how much that percentage will be by mid year, talk less of the end of the year. So
I-
I
is
just
there a reason why people have to wait until the start of a year to do it? Why? Because it's a big thing at the start of every year. Facebook, social media, news outlets, everyone is talking about new resolutions and how to make it work. And this, and do we have to wait? Why do we have to wait until the new year to do it? If you feel like change is important to you, when you realize the time that a certain something needs to be done or change has to be made, why not do it right away? Why wait 3 months until January to say, okay, this is when I want to start doing this? How important is that to you? If you can push it, if you can push it 2 months, 3 months down the line to start it.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think in people's psychology, it's just like a fresh start, a new beginning, time for new stuff. The old has gone and the new has come. So
Mm,
for them, it's just like time to start something new. I can see why people would want to try something in the new year, but yeah, the chances of you failing are pretty much the same like everyone else who starts a New Year's resolution. My thing is, if you have to wait to the New Year to have a New Year's resolution, I don't think you're very serious
no,
about that resolution.
no.
Yeah. So, because you can have a need to change in September, and then you push it to the new year. You're not very serious about changing or making, and it could be losing weight. It could be starting a new program. It could be saving money. It
Mhm.
could be being more closer. Whatever reason that you can put out there. If you have to push it to the new year, I suggest you're not very serious.
I suggest it's not very important to you, because if it
Not
were
very important
important
to
to
you.
you, you don't have to wait 2 3 months to start it, right? Again, just to add to the list, people wanting to quit smoking. I know people who have been wanting to quit smoking every
Right.
year. So every year you want to quit smoking, you do nothing about it. The next year you want
Yeah.
to quit smoke. I know people who have been wanting to quit drinking, consume less alcohol, right? And every year they start that. And the first 1 week, yeah, you see them drinking water and events, and
Yeah.
after that, you don't even know when they start drinking alcohol. So it's like, you know, you definitely have tried 2 3 times. You know it's impossible for. Why do you keep doing it?
Why do you keep
That
doing?
is my question.
Oh, maybe you're just not ready to make those changes. But it feels trendy because everyone is doing it on social media, and you just
Hmm.
hop on the train.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, New Year's resolution. I have to start a New Year's resolution. Yeah, but there's an aspect of me that don't take people seriously who have to wait to the new year to make a change that is needed in their lives. If you feel the need to change something, and if you have because the need is one thing, but if you have the opportunity to change something, you should do it right away. You should not wait for the new year, at least. Um, who knows if you're even going to make it to the new year?
It, it's even worse for people who think about what changes they need to make only when it's January
When
1st or
it's
January
January,
2nd.
right?
Like, you really, the entire year, you haven't really thought
You
about the
haven't,
changes you need to make. You only have to sit down and
you
think
haven't
about
thought
it.
that smoking is a problem. You have to
You haven't
stop.
thought that smoking is a problem for the past 10 years. You've been smoking,
Right,
and it's only now that it's only every January that you think maybe it's time to really think about.
right.
So I don't take people seriously who wait until the new year to think about what changes they need to make in their
Well,
life, right?
we know because we know how it goes, right? Because you see the first few weeks and the gyms are packed full and everyone is serious, working out and doing some sort of exercise, or they don't buy cigarettes anymore, they don't buy alcohol anymore. And then February, you start seeing the numbers begins to dwindle. The attendance in the gym is dwindling, not as much. And I'm sure if you talk to people who work at the gyms are packed full at the beginning of the year. And I give it 2 3 weeks, and then everybody starts getting into their routines, and it's really difficult to maintain because you've made it very ritualistic, and there's really no inner change.
Mhm.
You're just following the trend, and there's really not an assessment of these are the things that need to change, and do I have the skills and the support to be able to make these changes that I need?
Even am I even psychologically ready to make, am I even in a place psychologically where I think I can make the changes that I have listed on this thing? And again, it's good for business, right? I mean, it's
It's
good
good
for
for
business.
business,
Of
yeah.
course, if you own a gym, if you're running a gym, well, you want people to want to
You
exercise
do
more.
want to come.
And the only way people want it's you go register in a gym, and they put you on a subscription, or they take you for 1 year, right? So whether you come after 1 month is not their business. Now you're registered, now you have to pay. If you say you want to eat healthy and you join all these healthy eating programs out there, you pay you in subscription, you pay for that.
Right.
Whether you follow it or not, you've paid for it, you've committed. You make the financial
Yeah.
commitment, right? Without necessarily making the psychological commitment to yourself that you need to follow through with the other commitments that you make. But again, it's good for business. If I own a
It's
gym,
good for
I
business,
want
of
everybody
course.
to make a resolution.
Yeah, good for business because there's a marketing side to it that we don't talk enough about. And during Christmas shopping, a lot of these companies are selling gift cards and programs that people like to join. So
Mhm.
there's that marketing component
Mhm.
that is huge as well. And then family members will try to buy gifts for people, buy experiences for people, and then they give it to them. And you want to show them too that you're serious and you appreciate the gift that they gave you. So you enroll in whatever program that they got for you, and then 1 month you realize, maybe I'm not really interested in this thing that as I thought I was. Well, so what are the reasons that you think people often fail? Like I said earlier, 80% of people fail on the New Year's resolution by February, beginning of February.
I think people don't make realistic commitments. People make resolutions for the sake of making a resolution. It's not realistic. You make a resolution, for example, um to exercise more,
Yeah,
right? You go and you get a gym subscription for
yeah,
for part of that. Okay. Again, now when I talk about realistic, Look at the surroundings, the circumstances around that person's living. This is a man with a wife, or a wife with a man with 5 kids or 3 kids, for example, right? It's in the middle of school. January school starts in 2 3 days, right? So he works a night shift or something like that, right? So his time already is filled with activities
Yeah.
that he cannot he cannot that he
Squeeze in
has.
time.
Exactly that. There's no, you know very well that you're so busy during the day. There's no space for anything else. Yeah, you go and say, okay, you get yourself enrolled in the gym because you want to exercise more. Being realistic is a sense that, okay, instead of going to say I'll go get myself registered in a gym, I could say I would try to exercise 30 minutes every day or 15 minutes every
At
day.
home.
So within that time, you could find at home, of course, which means you could take 15 minutes while your kids are having lunch or supper and do a little bit of exercise. That is more realistic, right? As opposed to
Right.
say, I'll go to the gym every day So I think sometimes resolutions are very, very, very
Very unrealistic.
unrealistic.
Yeah.
It's way bigger than you can handle, or it's a lot more commitment than you have the time for, right? And people don't really sit down to think about, okay, this is what I want, but am I really able to accomplish that? Do I
Yeah.
have the time to meet up with this resolution that I've written down, right? Do I am I even in the mental space where I'm able to meet that? So I think it's, you said unrealistic commitments. After the first 1 2 3 weeks, it becomes obvious to you that you can't meet it, and then that's it. There's
Well,
no
and then,
review.
yeah.
There's no You're
No,
not reviewing to say, maybe I should cut it down. But just the fact that you failed the first 2 weeks, it's likely that you don't want to do that. You don't want to proceed with it, right?
right. And if you were really serious about that, you would have found time within your day to do all these things that you wanted to do. You wouldn't have waited for the new year to do that. You would have found the 15 minutes somewhere. You would have found the ability to change somewhere. You wouldn't wait for the New Year's. Like suddenly on the New Year, you're going to find some new 1 hour to drive to the gym and back and
And you're
start
talking about
exercising.
time that
Come on,
you were not able to find in the past year.
in
Like
the past.
if you could make time you probably would not be talking about it in the new year, right? So you don't think about, oh, I couldn't even do this last year. Why would this year be different?
Why
Or
would this year
what
be
what
different? Yeah,
conditions have I created that would make this year different for me?
right.
That's a question that we don't really ask, right?
And another issue that I have with New Year's resolution is it it treats habits as if they are just, or our behaviors as if they're just some random habits that we just get from nowhere. It doesn't treat it as a product of your life, your personality, your social influence, your cultural influence. It doesn't put together all the complexities that come with a human being. You are not just smoking because one day you just woke up and pick a cigarette. No, it's you have developed a chemical dependency
Dependence,
on
yeah, on it.
cigarettes. You are
Hmm.
not just drinking because one day you just saw alcohol and just started drinking. Everybody has access to alcohol, but not everybody drinks like you. You know, it's a product of your social life, it's a product of your genetics, it's a product of your family history, it's a product of your experiences and everything coming together. So when you just treat them as simple habits, it doesn't take into account how complex human beings can be. You know, we're not just one drinking person. Maybe you're drinking because you've always dealt with trauma. That's how you deal
Hmm.
with trauma. So then you want to stop drinking, but the trauma is still there. I don't know how successful there. So it really boils down to just one aspect. You want to see the change, but you don't explore the complexity of all those things that are behind the change.
I think it's the why. People don't ask, why am I drinking too much? First of
Right,
all, right? Or why am I smoking this much? First of
right.
all. Or why am I so unwilling to exercise? First of all, like the why is something that is
Why?
important. We don't ask ourselves why we do things in a certain way. We don't take the time to see why we
Why
can't
we are?
wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning to go to the gym and exercise. We don't ask ourselves why we would drink 10, 15 bottles of beer
Yeah.
instead of 2 like everybody else, right? Again, like you mentioned, it might just be a product of your trauma. That is how
That's
that's
just
how
that's
you
how you
deal
cope.
with your issues. You have too many issues. You drink to forget, or you drink to get yourself in a place where you're not thinking about those issues that you need to deal with, right? So if you don't resolve those issues, okay, you might
Yeah,
stop drinking alcohol, but you might find something else which might even be worse to compensate for the
to
lack of
compensate, right?
what I mean. You compensate for the thing that you've lost. It might be now more hard drugs, because again, you've
Yeah,
you've 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 ended um the without figuring out why you even got to that place in the first place, right? So I think most of the time, we don't think about why we do things, and then we think we can just change. Yes, I don't drink anymore, but now I am consuming, something more serious to deal with the problems that are not going away, right, that are still there.
exactly. It's not like, oops, I'm addicted to alcohol.
No.
That's probably taken years and years of your life to be able to get to that stage. It's not like, oops, I'm addicted to tobacco. Or
Hmm.
oops, I'm overweight. You know,
Hmm.
those those are things that have accumulated over time. They are behavioral patterns that you have developed over years and years and years. That is just part of your lifestyle. It's how you eat, it's how you socialize,
Hmm.
it's how you present yourself to the world, it's the amount of exercise you try to do every day, is what you think of your health, what you think of. So it's a lot of complex things coming together that to just change one time, and particularly to just wait for the new year to make this ritual because it's trendy and everyone else is doing it. Yeah, and for sure, I don't want that to sound like we are discouraging people to make changes in their lives, but I think we're trying to say you should understand why you are the way you are. It helps, and it's going to go a long way in terms of you sticking
Change,
to your New Year
yeah,
resolutions.
change cannot be sustainable if you don't really know why you're making, if you don't really have a foundation. You don't know why you're making the change, or you don't know why you got why you're that way in the first place. If you don't know why you're there, then why are you making change,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Because
figure yourself out first, and then you decide to make change, but you
right,
have to resolve the underlying issues.
you
If you
do.
don't resolve the underlying issues, no matter how many times you try to make change, it probably would not be successful. I don't think it would.
Right. And then also, like I said, it doesn't take it. Making changes does not take into account the complexities of us as human beings. That we are social beings, we are psychological beings, we are family men and so on. And then taking on new behaviors too doesn't take into account all these complexities. Suddenly you just want to swim. I've never swum in my life. Imagine me taking up a New Year's resolution that I'm going to start learn how to swim. I probably don't know how to swim because I'm not very interested in it. For one, I'm not good at it, and for two, it's not something that interests me that much. So, is
Mhm.
that wise for me to take up a New Year resolution that swimming is gonna what I'm gonna be engaging? Probably not. There are other things that
But
I've had interest.
I
Maybe I've
think
not had the time or the finance to do it. Yeah, I
Mhm.
can say, okay, yeah, maybe this year I'm gonna try to get into um, reading more books or eating healthy or going to the gym and stuff like that. But then it has to be something that has some that comes to you in some natural way, and then you want to enhance it or you want to make it better, right? But
Mhm.
if it's something that has never been an interest to you, never really bothered you,
But Ghana, I think people can pick up new interests and new hobbies, right?
people
I
can
might
do
never have been interested in swimming, and this year I'm like, oh, maybe swimming is
maybe
something that but I think, again, something that I always want to do was hike. Like, I want to go hiking sometimes. Not really something that it comes to me naturally, but it's something that I think could be fun, and
could be
that
fun.
I think
Well, you see,
I could
that's what I
enjoy
mean.
doing.
That's what, even though you've not hiked, but it's something that you consider that if you had the time and maybe the people and the support, it's something that you'd be interested in.
Mhm.
Okay, let's say, for example, you want to do, I don't know what you don't like, skydiving, I don't know.
Mhm.
Anyway, just consider anything that you do not enjoy, you've never envisaged yourself doing it, whether you had the time or the money, and then you want to take that up. Will it come to you naturally?
No, probably not.
Probably
Probably
not.
not.
See, yeah, but you can, in your busy schedule with kids and work and everything going on, you can say, well, if I had the time, I'll really enjoy hiking. That's for me, that already shows that you have some natural inclination to do that should the time or the opportunity present itself.
Event, right?
Yeah. So yeah, for me,
But
that's just what I think.
and also, I think planning is it. I think it's very important. To plan for the change that you're looking to make. You have
Yeah.
certain things have to be in place. It has to be a uh, conscious decision to make change. You have to take the time to think about what you need to put in place for change to happen or for
Right.
you to be able to make the change that you need, that you want to see in your life, right? They say, if you if you don't plan, then you're planning to fail. If you want to do something and
Right.
you don't make plans, it means you're
Yeah.
definitely planning to fail, right? So most of the time we jump up, it's January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, we go ahead and we put down all these resolutions because everyone is doing it without really taking time to think about, okay, how is this going to work?
Right.
What plans do I have in place? I'm not saying that because you're a busy parent, you can't go to the gym. Okay, I want to go to the gym. Oh, I have Mr. A or Mr. B or Mrs. A or Mrs. B coming
Right.
to my home
Could
two
be.
hours every evening to babysit the kids while I go to the gym, right? You have to be you can't just think about what you need to do and not plan how you want
Yeah.
to get it
Not make
done.
preparations. Yeah.
You can't want to go hiking and not take the time to say, okay, I need to connect with someone who does this, right? And then I need to, okay, how much does it cost? You need to plan everything so
You
as to
do. You do.
facilitate
Yeah.
and to make it work. So, if you don't plan, then of course you definitely are not serious about the goal that you're setting for yourself,
Another thing
right?
you need to plan about: do you plan to be uncomfortable? You know, because making changes come with some very strong.
It,
Um, um, uh, Making change comes with a lot of discomfort.
mhm.
Right? It's not a smooth sailing. You are going to have challenges. Are you going to give up on the next challenge? Um, I one thing that I really struggle with is flour, like flours, so bread products and other products of flour. Those are things that I enjoy: bread, cake, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Before the New Year, I was trying to reduce my carbs intake. My goodness, the withdrawal symptoms from those. Are you willing to sustain those? You know, have you ever had just veggies and protein for supper and you really feel your body withdrawing? You feel withdrawal symptoms from carbohydrates. So I struggle with that. Are you going to crack on the next uncomfortable discomfort you feel and go to the kitchen and have a bowl of gari and peanut and whatever, or you're going to stick to it? Because they are going to be challenges if you have a new Year resolution and you want to stick to, you know. Um, understand a lot of people use cheat days to be able to compensate for those, but that's just one day in a week. I don't know how you can sustain that. Anyway, that's just my part of my story. I try to reduce my carbs intake, but there's a lot of withdrawal symptoms, and I imagine it's gonna be for any other whatever New Year resolution that you're trying to take. If it means cutting down on a particular thing that you used over the years.
Yeah, there's impact, right? There's
No,
impact.
it's very
Change
strong.
come with results, with consequences, right? And
There's
that is
huge.
exactly one of the consequences you deal with. If you want to cut down on your carbs, like you say, are you good? Are you willing
Are
to
you
feel
willing to
weak? To
sustain
feel
that?
weak for a considerable period of time? Are you willing to
Right.
feel hungry? Because again, it leaves you with an empty stomach.
It leaves me
Vegetable
with
for
an empty
most people
stomach.
doesn't leave you. You're
And
not you don't feel like you've eaten anything.
right, you
So
feel
it leaves you with
like
an
you
empty
feel
stomach
so
and
empty.
it feels empty.
You
So are
feel so
you good with
empty.
that? Those are
So
some of
what I did personally, what I did is try to do that around my work schedule. So when I'm at work, my mind is occupied by
focus
other
on
things.
work,
You
right?
can't do that while you're at home.
Mm-hmm.
When there's bread lying down, there's cereal, there's rice and other stuff. It is hard to accomplish that while you're at home, particularly if you have kids that you have to serve them food with all of this
Right?
stuff. you know. So are you ready for all? So the withdrawal symptoms is not just the psychological and the physiological aspect of it. It's also the social aspect of it. Are
Mm-hmm.
you removing yourself from the situation that presents itself with all these carbs, in my case, that I have to avoid, or avoid restaurants, avoid places that will make you eat. Avoid, I mean, many places, in many instances, avoid visiting people because you know that they are going to serve you food.
Yeah, of course. They're going to offer you food, and sometimes
It's hard to
it's hard to
turn that
deny.
down because
And then you have to explain why you don't want
then
to
you
eat.
have
And
to
then
explain.
now people start holding you accountable. Now
People
you've
say,
told me you don't want to eat
I,
carbs, and the next day I see you with a piece of bread. I'm asking you, why do
why?
you have a piece of bread?
Why?
Right? So you have to be willing to deal with that discomfort and with people holding up. Because again,
And people
if
hold
you
you
go
accountable.
somewhere and you say I'm not eating, they're definitely
You
asking you
have to
why. And then you
explain.
say, oh, I'm trying to, eat healthy and that. Okay, now you've told them what you hope to do. Now
Yeah.
tomorrow when they see you somewhere, they will start asking you, hey, you said you were going to do this. Why aren't you
But you're
doing
not
this? So
ready.
people start holding you accountable. And I think too that is a lot of pressure on people. People go on social media and they list out they talk about their goals or their resolutions,
Yeah.
right? And then they 3 weeks after they fall off the wagon and they start doing things differently, and then people start coming to
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
they start asking you questions. Hey, but you told us this is what you wanted to do.
This is
What's
what you're
going
going
on,
to do for
right?
New Year.
So are you willing to take that as well? So again,
Plus,
consequences, it does come with consequences, of course.
plus, people who are also failing their New Year's resolution want you to join the train too.
Mm,
They want to feel that they are not crazy too. Someone
mm-hmm.
who started the New Year like, I'm going to work on reducing my carb, or I'm going to work on my weight, or I'm going to try to read more books. And then they see you and you're sticking to yours. They're like, maybe this guy is going strong. And it reminds me of my own failure. So when you join the bandwagon, you join the crowd of the group of people, the 80%, like I mentioned earlier, who have failed. So you just feel like, join the crowd of the lazy, miserable
And
people who
then
have
you,
all failed on their New Year's resolution. So you're just
and
part of the
then you,
band.
you start bashing on those who are still trying.
Start bashing on those who are still trying so hard and working on their New Year's resolution. There's a community in misery. You know what I mean?
It's like a campaign,
Yeah,
a recruitment. You want to bring more people to your side. You
yeah,
want people to fail as so badly, people to
exactly.
fail
People
so
are
badly because
actively
you
trying
fail.
to recruit you to join the fold, because then it makes them feel normal and not too terrible about their own particular situation.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah,
as
yeah.
much as people who are cheering you on to succeed on your New Year's resolution, there are also a lot of people who are wanting you to join the group of people who eventually failed on that New Year's
They
resolution.
need
So
you to
that
fail.
make them feel
So
good
it's
about
not just
themselves.
them, right?
Yeah,
They need you to fail. So it's
they
not
need
just
you to
them.
fail. So you're like, oh, everybody fails, so that's good. That it happens to everybody. There's some consolation in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. Whoever has had a New Year's resolution, we hope you guys are sticking to it and
And
marching on, and more power to your able. We hope you guys
and
succeed.
I just wanted to add, Ghana, that yes, for those who have resolutions and who are working on it, hopefully you make small goals that you can accomplish. Of course, celebrate little wins, right? You
Really,
might you
yeah,
might have committed to go to the gym 2 times a week, and you no 3 times a week, and you only go once. Well, you've gone once.
you
That
got
is
yeah.
something that you should celebrate, right? So celebrate little wins, make it fun.
Make it
Commitments
fun.
don't have to be commitments in the sense of the word, right? Make it fun. Have fun doing it.
Have fun
Don't
doing
make
it.
commitments that
As
are
much fun
not
as you
fun to
can.
you, right? Mhm.
Make it, and one thing I find too, make it flexible.
Yeah.
If you cannot go to the gym, what else can you do at home? If you cannot reduce your carbs, like me who struggles with that, what else can you do?
Hmm.
The other things that you can you skip a breakfast?
Hmm.
Can you
Can you
skip a
eat more
lunch?
fruit while
Yeah,
you,
can you
you
have
eat?
more fruit and
Can you
stuff
do
like
more
that?
vegetables while
Right,
you
more
know?
vegetables
So
is
you're not
fine.
really giving anything up, but you're still
Yeah,
at least living healthy, eating healthy, right?
So it doesn't have to be one particular thing. It's like until I go to the gym, then I'll work out. No,
No.
he can just stay home, do some little exercise at
Go for a
home.
walk.
You
Go for a
go for
walk.
a
Go for
walk,
a
right?
15
Yeah,
minute walk and count it as it's exercise,
I count
right?
it like that.
It's not that
So
at least you've done
my
something.
advice is people be flexible. Be
Yes.
flexible.
Yeah.
Any other
Yeah.
advice for people who have New Year resolutions?
Yeah, man. They have to review, man. Review every month. Review
Yeah,
every month. If you think it's so complex and so challenging, maybe cut down on your
yeah,
goals. Make it once a week as opposed to 3 times a week. Make it 2 times a month as opposed to,
yeah.
you have to review, because again, at the end of the, I think that the issue is you set a goal, and then you don't take the time to look at the goal and say, okay, it's been 1 month and how well or how badly have I done,
Yeah,
right? You have to review and reevaluate and then readjust whatever goals that you put in place. If you need to cut some out because it's just too much, because again, sometimes you carry too much. You have 10
you
things
do.
that you want to do. No, it's too much. So take it down to 2 or 3,
Take it
accomplish
down. Yeah,
those, and then you create new goals for yourselves, right? As opposed to creating 10. Take 2 at a time. Get the first 2 done, you set
yeah,
the next 2 goals, you get it done, you set, so that you don't feel overwhelmed and you don't feel like you're needing to do too much and you have no time to do it. So yeah,
yeah.
reevaluate, adjust your
My,
goals.
my advice too is do not wait for the New Year to
Yeah,
make a
don't.
New Year resolution. Yeah, yeah. That means you're not serious. If you need to make changes now and you have the opportunity to make
Do
changes now, do them
it.
now. It
Why not?
doesn't have to start on the New Year. And like you've alluded to, make small goals. Make a goal. This is what I want to do. Here, I want to maybe run 10 minutes, and then hopefully next month I can make it 15 and 20. You don't just skip from a non-runner to start running an hour. It's
Mm-hmm.
not possible. You know, you don't just skip from someone who has 3 meals a day, snacks a couple of times a day, and then to say no, you want to cut down on your
You
carbs. You are
start.
going to fail miserably.
Mhm.
I learned that the hard way. So yeah, make them small goals, put them in incremental steps. I find it to work out better that way than just going for the top goal and then try to accomplish the maximum goal possible.